Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're here again at another Facebook Live. We have been away from each other a little bit, but we're back here in the mix of things, and hopefully you've enjoyed a great holiday. You've enjoyed the holidays with Thanksgiving and everything that's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a blast. This year is almost over. It is hard to believe that we're almost done with 2023, and we got a show tonight. As we begin to go forward, let me give you kind of some updates of some great things that we're doing. One, we're ready to start probably in January, doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're going to be on live or a tape recorded show. Most of the time, we're going to be on live. You guys know I like to interact with you guys. Secondly, we're kicking off. We've already started it. The home ownership campaign of December and January. If you're looking to buy a house, we have houses for you. I know some investors that have houses. I know some real estate agents that are selling some houses, and I also know some builders. As the interest rates might be going up and down a little bit, don't let that deter you from becoming a homeowner and betting on yourself. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing it for the next 2 months. Anytime you want to call, give us a call here. I'm going to put my number up here so that you can actually give us a call, 317-847-2810. Ladies and gentlemen, this year has been a phenomenal year. We've all had ups and downs, but this year has went by so fast. It seems like just a couple months ago we were celebrating and talking about how we was going to go into the new year. Once again, I'll say it once again. As you begin to spend during the new year, okay, we want you to understand here at Mac Capital Investment Group that you need to keep your balances below 30% going into the new year. If you want to know some tricks of the trade, guess what? Go into the back of the retail store, you'll see everything that you want to purchase for next summer on the not the clearance sale, not the Black Friday sale, but the clearance sale. This is what you want to buy for next year. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let's buy smarter. Let's buy smarter, right? Everything you want for next summer is going to be there in that clearance aisle. Now is the time that you can get it at a very discounted price. Also, don't go spending over 30% because guess what? That's going to hit your credit. Everything that you want to buy is going to be there after the new year. Okay. Don't be so quick to be an impulsive buyer. I'm at one of my restaurants. I try to support restaurants while I'm doing this. They said, hey, I want to see your face. So I'm at a restaurant. So if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, that's all right. We're going to have a great show tonight for you. We're going to have a person that's running for governor on my show. Guess what? 2021 is when we kick this off, right? 2022. And we've had businesses on the show. We've had uh, people, accountants, insurance agents, attorneys. You guys have showed me a lot of love these past couple of years. And I just want to say thank you. We've grown together. And hopefully, the content that I'm giving you is something that you can use. We believe that the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. And so now, because of the platform that we have a person that's running for governor that's going to be that's trying to get on the ticket. She thought enough of us to come onto the show. She's going to be here at about 6:30. We're going to have some things that we're going to talk about until then. This is our 2 hour special, right? So I didn't get a chance to really talk to you guys about how we should be budgeting during the holidays. One, interest rates are at an not at an all-time high, but they're starting to creep up. And we got the propaganda, don't go buy, don't go buy. But remember this, it doesn't matter what the interest rate is because you still got to keep a roof over your head. So either you're going to bet on yourself or you're going to pay somebody else. So with that being said, at one time they said there wasn't enough houses, which was a farce, right? There are houses on the market. It's just where you want to live. Give us a call here at Mad Capital Investment Group. We can get that done for you. right? I'm a loan officer. We can make sure that everything that you need from the beginning to end. Make sure that you don't quit your job. You got to have 2 years of employment, right? You got to have about a 580 credit score. Okay. If you don't have it, that's all right. Give us a call. We can help you with it. If you want to find out what your credit score is, there's some different free services out there. Uh, but, I always tell people go on Credit Karma, pull your credit. Now, Credit Karma is not accurate. Okay. It will give you a ballpark figure of where you're at. Okay. So the only thing you got to do is pull up Credit Karma, download the app, put the information in. Then you can kind of see where in a ballpark figure where you're at. Normally it's wrong off about 30 to 40 points. Okay. So when you call me, I'll ask that you pulled your credit. You'll say yes or no. Then I'll pull what we call a tri-merge, which is a credit report that is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. All three of those combined will take the middle of the three scores. Okay, so if you got a 700, a 701, and a 702, we'll take the 701 and take away the 702 and take the 701 out, 703s and 701 out. So we want to make sure that now is the time. If you are trying to start a business, you need to give us a call. We can help with that also. If you are trying to start a business, why do you want to start a business now? There's a lot of tax benefits. Also, if you start a business, you don't have to worry about having a gap in your employment. You're the owner. You can have your information, your business going. We can help with that also. Lastly, if you're looking at trying to get involved into buying and selling houses, let me take a moment here. If you're looking to get involved in buying and selling houses, right? You got to have some type of mentor, you got to have some type of coach so that you don't get yourself into a heap of trouble when you get involved in that. We're starting a program in about 2 weeks. There's going to be a full-blown course. How do you buy and sell houses? We'll have lenders coming in. We'll have banks coming in. We'll have real estate agents coming in. We have accountants coming in. Insurance. It's the whole gamut on how you can get started if you are looking to get involved into the real estate market. Okay. Uh, we will start our network night. That will be coming back down the pipeline. We'll probably starting that in January. So you got to stay on. We also are going to do a mass campaign on YouTube. We've got a lot of requests of saying, hey, what happens if I don't want to get on Facebook for whatever reason? I just want to get on YouTube. Well, we're located on all of those platforms. Only thing you got to do is put in my name and on YouTube, and my name will pop up, and you can follow us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, I'm going to start putting neat things in our YouTube channel, and we're going to transition from Facebook to YouTube and Instagram. So we're going to have a lot of good stuff in there. We're also going to be kicking off a youth financial literacy program. Okay. Mariah, which is the marketing person, she's very excited about that. We're going to be kicking that off. And what we're going to be doing is teaching kids on how to read financial statements, how to balance a checkbook, how do you actually buy stock. A lot of people are out there saying, hey, buy stock like this and buy stock like that. But they don't understand that those stocks that you buy are actual companies that are doing business, that are raising capital on the stock market for their business. So a lot of us buy stock and we look at it like gambling almost. We just take it and just throw it up against the wall. But actually, these companies that we're talking about that you're buying stock with, they actually have CEOs. They have a board of directors. You can look them up and Google them and see what they do, how they operate, what have they done in the past, what type of things that they have done in the past that made them successful and what made them not successful. What are their habits? This is what we're teaching our kids. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a young adult in your home, anywhere from 7 to 14, well, to 19, give us a call. We're going to be taking in the kids and developing them classes. If they can learn how to dribble a basketball up and down the court at 5 and 6 years old, they can learn how to read a financial statement at 5 and 6 years old so that they can use their brain instead of their body. So once again, ladies, I always say the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. A lot of things have happened in the past since we have not been on. We've been revamping and making sure that we are going to be giving you in 2024 the best information out there. We want to give you the most relevant information to where you can make decisions. But we need you to do one thing for us. We need you to come in and start supporting, not financially. I didn't ask for anything financially. I want you guys to start getting your family together. This is generational wealth where you bet on yourself. The cavalry is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the companies that we've brought onto our show, they've hired. They was doing hiring. Remember the logistics company? They hired a lot of the people through the show. Remember the insurance company that came onto our show? Guess what? They've got some insurance agents through our show. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's up to you to take advantage. This is a great time for you to sit around with your son, with your daughter, with your loved one, significant other, plus one, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. This is an opportunity for you to sit around and talk about what you guys can do to bet on yourself to get out of the rat race of being financially ignorant. Okay? A lot of times we try to keep up with the Joneses and we try to fit in, right? I'm telling you that you are the person who's going to change your situation. And it starts right now. It starts with you. For so long we thought that, in our communities, the only thing that we had was drugs and liquor stores and things of that nature. And they even said that we don't work together. Well, guess what? There's the biggest logistics company here in the city out at Amazon and FedEx. They was on our show, and it was 4 brothers that was working together. Guess what? That should inspire you to whatever your idea is. Let's bring it to the table and let's see what we can do to launch your business. If you got a business and somebody's referred you, make sure that you call us. We'll showcase your company. You'll come to network night. You'll come in. We're going to work on your credit. We'll set your business up so that you can eventually go into a bank and then be able to get a loan or get a line of credit to where you can start to grow your business. Because guess what? I was talking to an individual today, and they was under the impression that we can't realistically bet on ourselves and be successful in today's market here in the United States of America. And I beg to differ. What my response was is that sometime in our community, we look for the big fish. We want somebody who's already been successful. We want somebody who's already done it, already proven, right? That's great. But guess what? When you get with those type of people, what happens is they are so big and they have so many people pulling on them, they have to price what their services are. And a lot of times when you're first getting started in your business or even on this site, you have to create value or bring something to the table in order to be heard. So many times I've been told, Cepeda, no, I can't come on your show. You don't have a following of so many people, of 100,000 people. Oh, you're in a small market. You're in Indianapolis. You're not in one of the major markets. So you have to understand and not get upset or irritated because somebody told you no. What that means, let me tell you what my definition of no is. My definition of no is, what do I need to do to turn that into a yes? It's that simple. If somebody tells you no, say, I understand you don't want to use my services. I'm not worthy right now. But what are you looking for to help you grow your business? And guess what they'll tell you? Well, I need to have a show. I don't go on shows if they don't have at least 2,000 followers. And I don't go on any shows that the platform ain't XYZ. So what do? You go and showcase what you can do, and they gave you the answer to what you want to do. And that's how you bet on yourself. Okay. So once again, you can take it as a no and then go back and say, hey, I can't do it. Or you can take it as a no and say, okay, this is what I need to do to be in this type of playing field. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to get in the game. I've already showed you that one, we can do it. Two, there's wealth in our community. Only thing we got to do is become user friendly and become accessible to the people who we're serving. Okay. Let me give you the third tip. If you're trying to start a business and you're trying to really grow your company, it's not one tip. I'll give you three tips. One, you got to be careful of who you listen to. Okay. A lot of times we go to get advice and people are negative, and those are the people who will pull you down. Okay. But use those as fuel to get you started, get you going. If you believe it, is a reason why you believe it. It came into your mind. You got to make that ship go. Okay. The second thing, surround yourself with people who you can learn from. My grandmother once told me, Cepeda, either you learn what to do or you're going to learn what not to do. One of the things is going to happen. You're going to learn something. So a lot of times we want to go around people who are already polished and who's accomplished, but the real challenge is to go around people who you can learn something from. Sometimes you got to go around people. I work for a company. I'm not going to say their name. I worked for them for about 2 or 3 years, and they were the worst ran company I've ever worked for. But I learned the most. Okay. And the reason why I learned so much, I learned everything that I did not want to do inside of my company, right? They treated their employees bad. There was always a lot of gossiping going on. The management never communicated effectively to the lay members. There was never a true vision. But all of those things compiled together, I was always stressed out. Okay. But one of the things when I left, I had clear direction of what I did not want to be. I did not want to be in a situation where I couldn't communicate to my staff. I did not want to be in a position where financially, I was struggling all the time. You know, I wanted to be very clear to my customers of where their information was at and what we could do to assist them. So all of those things combined made me a better owner when I got out there on my own. And I know there's a lot of people that say, don't work for nobody else and always work for yourself. Well, you can work for yourself when you know where you're going and your ship is ready to go. But you always can work for somebody else and learn and get that trade up under your belt so you don't have to go to the school of hard knocks in order um, to be in business, because in business it's a game, it's a risk, and the less riskier your business is, the better decisions that you can make, the more information that you have, the better you're going to be able to maintain your business, and you're going to be able to avoid hurdles and potholes that might hold you back. And so these are just some of the tips that we're going to be involved with, that we're going to be talking about come January and shows. We're going to be having everything. The training is going to be here. Also, we're going to take this campaign into other states. It's going to be first come, first serve, right? So this is how we're going to evaluate it. If you're on my show and you're watching today, we want you to subscribe, go on YouTube, subscribe, go on to my Facebook, and we want you to download your name, state that you're from, and your telephone number. Somebody will reach out to you, and we will come to your city and set up a training, home ownership, leadership. If you're in a church, financial literacy. If you want to put together a group of kids, we can come to your city and set the whole thing up. Make sure, that's right, Kim, be careful who you listen to, but make sure that you give your name, your address, what city you're from, your telephone number, and your email address so we'll be able to contact you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great year for us. We've caught up on a whole lot of things. Um, we have some great topics that we're going to be going into the new year. We got some great speakers lined up. We're going to be having next week. We're going to be having an accountant that's on here. If you have not filed your taxes within the past 2 years, we're going to have an accountant on our show next Tuesday, and she's going to be telling us what we can do if you have not filed your taxes. If you have a business and you need your taxes filed, you need an accountant or a bookkeeper or somebody to help you through the financial maze. We're going to have somebody on the show that you can be able to ask questions for. Now, if you're looking to make a little bit of extra money, right? If you're looking to want to make some extra money for the holidays, inbox me. We're setting up people and we're going to be training them, and it's a full course. I think it's going to be a week course to where we can train you on how to file taxes for people. You know, a lot of times H&R Block, some of the other companies, this is a season where they hire a lot of people. They call seasonal people, and we're going to have that same platform. If you are looking to get involved in the tax preparation, tax filing, things of that nature, we're going to be able to assist you with that. The young lady is going to be on here next week. We're going to be able to take all of your information, reach out to you, go through the week training so you can know what you're talking about. It's very easy to do. It's very user friendly. If you are looking to get involved into the tax business, this is a good place for you. Um, we have the um, what am I just lost for words? We have the Facebook Live to where we're going to be able to promote what you guys are doing. The leads will come straight to you. I don't not doing any taxes. They're going to come to you. You'll be able to help a lot of people out. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to be here for you. This is a great opportunity if you're looking to get involved, change your career, want to get involved in something more positive. This would be a good time for you to come in, play, and start doing taxes to help out our community. We do all of the training from A to Z. The software is excellent. You'll be able to figure it out as we go. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of times we say you listen to a podcast, you don't get a chance to actually make any money just listening, gathering information. We want to break that norm. We are here to help you get out of the rat race. The cavalry is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. The creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to you to save you. So not only are we trying to get involved with home ownership, we're doing the taxes, we're helping businesses grow. We have a track record of having businesses on the show. We have, if you are overweight, we're going to have somebody that's going to be coming in and talking to us about dieting. That's next, not this week, but the following week, right before Christmas. Why? Because we believe that if you are healthy physically, it will help you mentally and you will be a better business. And because you are a better business, you can create generational wealth for your kids, for your family. You can be an asset to your community. And guess what? You are needed in our community. I don't want you to think that, hey, you just listening to the show. You can gather something from the show that can help you become more profitable. So if you listen in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a dietitian here on the show. He's going to come in and talk to us about what are some of the foods that we should stay away from. What are some of the foods that we should eat? What are some of the things that we should do to, if you have high cholesterol, diabetes, whatever the case may be. I know a lot of people are talking about eating more organically. How many times the meals you should eat a day, what should you do. You know, personally, I like to eat one meal a day. You know, I don't like all that sitting down and eating. But he was kind of telling me, hey, Cepeda, probably need to increase it a couple times, cut out the red meat, eat more fruits and vegetables. It helps your digestive system. He also gave me some tips with my, high sugar. And he was like, Cepeda, there's good sugars, there's bad sugars. So saturated sugars, bad. Why? Because it's been processed. Good sugars are sugars like in watermelon, things of in fruit that's natural. Um, so many things that we can cover once we get into that. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, the year is almost over. We only got a couple more weeks. You know what are you guys doing for the holidays? Don't make a lot of commitments. Don't set yourself up for failure. Um, just try to set goals that are attainable. I know that they say set goals that you can't achieve or things of that nature. That might be your cup of tea, but set goals that where you got to get up to get after it, but set goals that might be attainable. One of the things that you can do, um, right where you're at today, starting today, setting a goal, is to watch the show. Is instead of saying, hey, listen, I'm going to commit from 6 to 7 every Tuesday or every Wednesday to watch the show so I can gather something from it. They always say, if you've been following me on my posts, tell me what you think of my posts. I'm getting back in the habit of posting a lot of things on my Facebook page. One of the posts that I made, it says the clock is right twice a day. Why? Because sometimes we feel like we're defeated, and we feel like, hey, I can't do it. I don't know how. So many people have told me no, but ladies and gentlemen, you're here for a reason. You're not here by accident or by coincidence. You're here for a reason. And if you bet on yourself, I guarantee you, the person in the mirror that you look at every single day, that's who really counts. Yes, other people might have their opinion, but guess what? The person in the mirror is the one that really counts. That's the one who you're trying to impress. So many times, people, we look for the approval of other people, and we never get the approval of ourselves. I'll say that again. So many times we look for the approval of other people, and we never get the approval of ourselves. Why do we look for approval in other people so much? Because nobody has ever told us that, we got your back. I got your back. Nobody has never told us that, keep going, and I'm going to invest into you. That has been the taboo in our community. So many people are quick to pull you down, but there's not a lot of people that's willing to pull you up. So you got to pull yourself up. You got to learn that everything that everybody says is not always right. Okay, it might be right some of the times, but it don't have to be right all the time. So you got to learn how to bet on yourself, how to surround yourself with people, not just people who are just talking, but people who are really, really trying to help you out. Okay, you can bet on yourself. You can believe in what you're doing. You know, a lot of times we just don't understand that. We are our own worst enemy. Sometimes we don't even give ourselves a chance. So, with that being said, I'm sure that there's a lot of opposition, a lot of people who have criticized and said negative things and hurtful things. But guess what? Let me tell you one thing you can do. And this is what my grandmother told me. She said, Cepeda, if somebody says something negative about you, you got two options. Either you can believe it or you can deny it. But one thing for sure, it came out in the air. And guess what? Do you believe what they say of you or do you not? If you don't believe it, disregard it. And if you do believe it, change. There you go. That's simple. Tonight, we have a great, great show. She's here in the building. She's ready to go. You guys will not believe how phenomenal this lady is. She chose to come on this show, to get leads or to get the campaign going. This is, it made my heart good. She came in, and let me tell you how I met her. Well, let me tell you how we got back on the show. I tried to get her back on the show a while back when her and some of the other people, they bum rushed my show. But I tried to get her on a couple weeks ago. She said, "Nope, I'm not ready." So I was like, "How are you going to get ready?" When she said, "I got some things I got to take care of." And it kind of caught me off guard because I don't like getting told no. So once again, I was like, okay, you told everybody you was gonna be coming on my show, and if you run for office and you don't come on my show, guess what? I'm gonna be your biggest enemy because I'm gonna tell everybody, don't vote for her. She don't trustworthy. Don't come on the show. But she called me and said, hey, actually, she sent me a text. She said, I'm ready. Well, this is what happens when you're dealing with our people that you genuinely love. I'm not going to give her, I'm not even putting her on the show right now because she'll take it over once I get in. But she said that she was going to come on the show. And I said, okay, cool, no problem. She said, I'm ready now. So I said, okay, you ready to come on my show? You're going to tell me when you're coming on. So who does that in America? So once again, I thank everybody that has supported, not only her. Whenever somebody comes on my show, every last independent person, a president, CEO, attorney, they come in and they feel at home. And that's the platform that we want to do. We want to be, if you guys remember back in the 70s or the 60s, there was a show actually in our community. It was a dance show called the Soul Train. And if you was an actor or if you was in Showtime or if you was in entertaining, that was the thing to be in. Or the Apollo. If you was going to do anything, you had to come through that in order to get validated. Well, guess what we're starting to do? People are starting to get validated on our show. So these people are starting to go do astronomical things after they leave the show. I just said they got to come back, okay, so that we can celebrate them. We don't want to talk to them. We want to celebrate them. So without any further ado, now at the end of the show, we're going to have her. She has a video out. It has about a lot about her. I was trying to upload it and I couldn't get it. I just couldn't do it. But guess what? I can do it at the end of the show. But she is phenomenal. We're going to ask her some hard questions too. What she going to do for us? It's up to us to save us. And I'm sure she's ready. Without any further ado, we're going to bring on Tamie. I didn't want to bring her on until I got everything out because the last time they was on the show, they took it over. So Tamie, how are you? How are you? How are you?
I am doing well, and thank you for having me, Mr. Jackson. Thank you. Absolutely. And no, I'm not gonna take over your show. We're just having a good conversation like we did last time. Absolutely good conversation. And yes, and I thank you for holding the door open for me because there's been a lot going on. Like I said, my word is bond. When I tell you I'm going to do something, I make sure
Yes.
that I do that. And I also let if there's a pause, if I can do it right away, I'll do it right away. But if I have to, circle back to it, I'll do that. But I'll keep you informed along the way. So thank you for
She's
holding the door.
she's one of the most influential people that we know on the show. So without any further ado, we thank you, Tamie, for coming back. I know you are a woman of your word. We thank you. I think we thank you for the platform. We have so many people that have. When I sent out your picture and they was like, hey, you just stepped up your game. You got a governor. You ready to get the governor in. I said, hey, listen, it's always good to be good. It's always good
Right.
to be good. So, Tamie, tell us a little bit about what you're doing before we get to the questions. Tell us a little bit about you, what you're doing, what your platform is. I got some questions, but we want to know a little bit about you now.
Okay, well, thank you for that. I'm Tamie Dixon-Tatum. I am from Anderson, Indiana, and basically what I'm doing is that I'm working to get my name placed on the ballot for Indiana governor. So I am not a candidate yet, right? I'm not a candidate yet. I only become a candidate once I collect 4,500 signatures across the state of Indiana. So Indiana has 9 congressional districts, and I need 500 signatures from registered voters across those 9 congressional districts. And I'll get a little bit more into that later, but I just want to clarify that I am not a candidate at this point. I'm a contender for a candidate, if you will, but not a candidate. So I'll start again by saying that I'm a contender, and basically what I'm doing is working to get my name on the ballot for Indiana governor, and I'm doing this because I'm qualified. I'm qualified by education, I'm qualified by experience, and I'm qualified because I value people first. And I think that's the main thing, is that I value people first. With regards to my education, I have a master's in legal studies, I have a master's in government, and I have a bachelor's in telecommunications. With regards to my experience, I am a civil and human rights director, and I tell people I am a civil and human rights director by trade. So, being a director, I understand budgeting, I understand policy making, decision making, all of those things that are required. I do have that experience. I also have experience because I'm involved on a number of executive boards. And so, again, that type of experience qualifies me to work to get my name on the ballot for Indiana governor.
Okay.
And like I said, I value people first. And so, my vision, if you will, is to create a state, which is Indiana, create Indiana to make sure that Indiana is the state that values people first. And I think for whatever reason, government has gotten away from that, and we need to bring that back to the table. So, with regards to what will I do, I will bring value back to Indiana, because Indiana will be known for a state to value its people. So when it comes to, equity and just across the board, that's what I'm looking to do. I want to, in essence, I guess in short, is to bring humanity back to government. Obviously, business is important. So, I care about, education without a doubt. I care about livable housing. I care about livable wages, because you need those livable wages to pay for that livable housing, right?
Say that again. And we're gonna ask a lot of those questions. So
absolutely.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I just would not mean to cut you off, but once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to get on the grassroots. So we always complain, Tammy, hey, we don't have nobody to represent us. We don't have this, we don't have that. Now we don't have any excuse. She's starting from the ground level. She don't have the campaign contributors. She don't have the people that I got to squeeze her palms. She got to get there. We can get behind our own candidate, and support our person, put our person in place, right, on the ticket. She's not asking for money. She came in and said she just needs your petition. She needs you to sign a piece of paper and go and register to vote. That is the easiest thing that we can do. And guess what? She came here on a grassroots level and in support of us. So this is what we're saying. The cavalry ain't coming. Now we got somebody who's going to break the whole thing open. So now it's up to us to save us now. So now we have a voice. We have her ear. Now, I don't want y'all calling her when she becomes governor, and then y'all didn't support, y'all didn't watch the show, y'all didn't do nothing, and now y'all want to call her up and say, call me up. Don't call me, because I'm not going to answer, because I'm going to be hanging out with Tammy. Okay? But we must begin to get out and vote. Or 2 or 3 people, if you want to get involved in the political process, this is the beginning of it. Go out, register yourself to vote. That's the first thing. Then go out and get the sheet. We're going to have all of that stuff for you guys. We're going to ask Tammy the questions. Tammy is going to take care of us. Okay.
Well, and
And
let and let
go
me
ahead.
and let me say, let me say, this too, and I want to keep qualifying the part that I am not a candidate. So,
Yes,
when it comes to what can I do for you right now, I can't do nothing.
that's
And the
right.
reason why I can't do nothing is because I am not a candidate right now. I am a contender. In order to give Indiana a choice, right? In order to get my name on the ballot, I must have signatures from registered voters. If you are not registered, you need to get registered, which will give you the QR code, or direct you to the state of Indiana's webpage where you can register yourself to vote. You can check your voting status, right? And once you do that, it only takes like 2 or 3 minutes to get done, and you can do it right from your phone or from your computer, or the old-fashioned way. We've got people who actually have the voter registration papers where you can fill them out and get them turned back into your voter registration office. We can do it that way. But again, I cannot do anything for
Thank you.
anybody until this happens. So I want to, and this needs to happen by the end of December. I'm saying December the 22nd because I have to have an opportunity to get all of these signatures into each area's voter registration office to verify that the person signing is a registered voter. So unfortunately, electronic signatures on a petition will not work. The petition has to be downloaded, it has to be printed, it has to be filled out with your signature to verify that you are a registered voter. Once that happens, then from each, like I said, Indiana has 9 congressional districts. I get these petitions certified in each of those 9 districts. And then by January the 10th, I will start to give them to the state of Indiana so that the state of Indiana can see, yes, she has enough verified signatures, verified petitions to qualify her as a candidate. Once that happens, now we can get into the nuts and bolts of, what will I do for the state of Indiana? So I just wanted to be very clear on that part as
So
well.
y'all hear that? So we got, this is the ground level. So now it's time to put our feet to the, put our mouth, money where our mouth is.
Yes.
Go out, get registered. I got a question. Can we register to vote at the B&B?
So yes, there are various locations where you can go, and absolutely positively, the BMV is one of those places. Matter of fact, if you go to update your state ID or to update your driver's license, one of the things that should be going on is that they should be asking you, would you like to register to vote? So absolutely, that's one of the easiest places to go.
Okay, so
And if you need a state ID, because there is a campaign coming up in 2024, right? If you need a state ID to vote in an election, which the next one would be the primary coming up in 2024, then your ID would be free when you're trying to get ID to actually vote.
so she ain't even giving us the game already. She ain't even got on the ballot yet, and she done gave us the game. So she's this is the type of governor, or these are the type of people that we need to start surrounding ourselves with. Remember, I told you, we got to start betting on ourselves, right? This is how you bet on yourself. There's a reason why I had her on the show. One is because she bet on herself. You know, somewhere along the line, she had to look in her mirror and said, hey, I can do this. Tammy, what made you decide to run for governor? Well, what
Wow.
made you
So
decide to get on the ballot to want to be a candidate to run for governor?
Well, first of all, like I said, I am a civil and human rights director and a protector of those civil and human rights. So every single day, I work with individuals that have, situations with regards to housing. That's one of my service areas. Fair housing is what we call it. Education,
Okay.
employment, and disability. So every day I see firsthand what's going on, not only in my community, but across the state and obviously, across the U.S. because I have counterparts throughout the United States. Plus, we have what we call some international civil rights partners as well. And so, because I see this every single day, I want to do something about it. So, yes, I took a look in the mirror and I was like, you know what? I do not have a right to complain about anything unless I do something about it. So it was like, well, what can you do? And I said, okay, well, I'm used to going to, city council meetings, county council meetings. I'm used to reaching out, talking and writing, different state and other elected officials and things of that nature. And so, so I've done those things and many of them have been very, very helpful. But I also understand that if real change is going to come, it's going to come from the top down and the bottom up at the same time. And so knowing, all the problems that I see on a regular basis, especially like I said, with regards to housing, there's some, deplorable housing conditions across the state of Indiana. With regards to education, education is not doing that well in Indiana, right? Public schools, it's under attack. And so looking at those things on a regular day-to-day basis, I said to myself, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get out there and do something different. And that looks like putting your name on the ballot, working to put my name on the ballot, having the courage to stand up. And the courage comes from my genuinely wanting to help people. And so that's what made me do it. My courage solely comes from my want, my need, my desire to help people just in general, because again, I think government has gotten away from that. Obviously, there's a focus on business, and it needs to be, particularly with regards to our small businesses, our mom and pop shops across Indiana, across the United States. They're the bread and butter of our community. However, it has to be a balance. These people can't be successful without customers. These people can't be successful without employees. And so, how do we get a balance so that it's a win, win, win? Equity for everybody across the board. And I'll say this, Dr. Martin Luther King, one of his famous quotes, and there's many, but there's one, I have it framed, if you will, in my office, and it says, I have the audacity to believe that people everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, and education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equity, and freedom for their spirit, right? Those are the words that I live by. And that's what I want to see for the whole state of Indiana. Again, I want to bring, humanity back to government, and particularly here in the state of Indiana. So, and the only way we're going to do that is to value people first, making sure that the policies that we put in place, policies should see. And what should they see? They should always see like the social impact, the economic impact, and the environmental impact for everybody, not just the rich folks or the poor folks, but for all folks. We need to look at the policies and make adjustments where they need to be made, right? And go from there, because again, the whole goal is to make sure that there's equity across the board, and when you do that, that's when humanity will be back into government.
So okay, so Tammy is giving us some good information, ladies and gentlemen. The cavalry ain't coming. I always say the cavalry is not coming. The creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. And did you catch some of the things that she said? One, she said she had to look at herself in the mirror and realize that she's not. If she's going to be a part of the, not going to be a part of the solution, then she don't have no reason to say nothing. That's kind of how I started the podcast, Tammy,
Mhm.
because Uh, I heard so many people say we can't work together. I heard so many people say you can't do it. I heard so many people say there's no value in our community. But being in the mortgage business, I see a lot of people investing that don't look like us in our community, and they'll come in and buy up the block. So I was like, what in the heck is going on here? So I was having a conversation with my daughter, and she challenged me. She said, Dad, you always complaining. Why don't you do something?
Yeah.
So here we are. So
Yeah.
we got some bullet questions, Tammy. Tammy, we want to make sure that we got your name out here. If you want to contact Tammy, she gave me her name. We're going to show her video at the end. 765-278-6780 is the number that you can reach her. This is how campaigns and movements start. It starts here. It starts with her being the face of us for us. She's going to carry the weight. We got to get behind her, get to the B&B. We're going to do some things to help her get on that balance. And I know it's the holiday, but we're going to have to do something in the different markets. And we might have to have a church, get with some of these pastors, get them to register their members anyways, and get Tammy on the ballot. Okay?
Well,
So we're going
and
to, this will be a platform. So this is how winning is done, ladies and gentlemen. This is how winning is done. You set a goal. You got a client. We got a client. Tammy is our client. And we want to feel good about getting her on the ballot. The first thing we want to do is get her on the ballot. Okay? Second thing we want to do, we'll talk about that once we get her on the ballot. Okay?
right. First things first. First things first. And that's exactly what I was going to say. And going back to, what you were saying, we got to look in the mirror. We meaning everybody, rich, poor, black, white, it doesn't matter. You got to
Yep.
look in the mirror because change starts with yourself, right? And like you said, value, we all as people, we have to see value in ourselves first, because if we don't see that in ourselves, it's hard for other people to say it. And that's just even in any
Tammy,
relationship.
I
It
told
could be,
somebody that today.
yeah,
I told somebody we was discussing,
absolutely.
and I had told her I was actually telling her about you, right?
Hmm.
And she said, she was giving me the old song and dance about, we don't have people in office and leadership. That ain't where we go. But like you just said, people don't respect us when you don't defend and stand up and fight for yourself. They won't respect you. So
And
you
that's in any
got
relationship. That
that's
could be in a
exactly
husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. If you do not value you first, it is hard for other people to
the
see the
value.
value in you,
That's it.
right? And so that's why, like I said, my vision, my motto, my everything is valuing people first. I want to let everybody know that, if you're human, we value you, point blank, period. Because and that's how, like you said, you're speaking about unity. That's how unity, that's how it all comes together. You have to see value in something or someone, and that's how we all pull it together. And
That's
so that's why, that vision, again, I can't harp on it enough. It's valuing people first. And the other thing is, it's funny because, when it comes to politics, sometimes many people will say, oh, I don't vote. Oh, I don't do politics. Well, my response to that, I'm not going to sit there and argue with them, but I just kind of, drop a seed, if you will. And I let them know that, politics is about governing, meaning, managing. So politics, in essence, is an instrument, or it's a tool to govern people and resources, right? Bottom line. And so the question is, will you choose to be a part of this, political process, if you will? Because if you choose to be a part of it, you realize that your destiny, if you will, is tied into politics, because again, politics governs people and resources. Point blank and period. Because you and I and every other person, there are rules and there are laws that we have to live by.
Yeah.
You just have to. When you get in the car, there's a speed limit. When you get in the car, you got to put on your seatbelt. When you get in the car, there's a stoplight, there's a stop sign. All of those things are rules and regulation to govern the behavior of people. And then obviously there's money put behind that, right? So again, it governs people and it governs resources. So you are political, whether you are a participant of that
Or
or
not.
not. And one of the and I forget which one of the Indianapolis representatives it was. I want to say it was Bill Crawford, and he used to say that if you are not at the table, you are on the menu. Period.
That's it.
And that's
That's
it.
it. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Calvary's not coming. The creek is rose. Tammie's here. It's up to us to save us. So Tammie, let's ask some questions. Um,
Okay.
this is one of the questions that I did a poll. What is, in your opinion, the status of our education system today, and what will you do to improve it?
So obviously the status is not well,
What
and
is
I know, particularly, and I'm not going to per se call any places out in Indiana right now, but there are some school systems that are really failing and that are really failing all of the students, right? And so one of the people that I've been speaking with, he actually is a part of the Indianapolis public school system.
uh-huh.
And I won't call him out by name right now, but at any rate, he is someone. He's got actually more degrees than I have. He has been an administrator. He's been a principal. He's been a principal. He's been, a superintendent. He's been a lot of different things. And so, with all of that, when it comes to resources, which is, our tax money, public funds, I want to make sure that education is valued, so much so that there are public funds that go to these public schools to make sure that teachers are underpaid, right? They are currently underpaid. We need to make sure that teachers are well compensated, right? So that's one of the first things. And then, to have them not only well compensated, but they've got to have the right resources too, so that they can buy those things so that to enrich their curriculum. So, books and other technology and other tools. So we have to make sure that the teachers are paid, right? And that they have the adequate equipment and books and things of that nature to make sure that they are truly educating our kids. And educating our kids means that they are giving them critical thinking skills.
Whoa,
Not
whoa.
so, yeah, not so much, some of these standardized tests. Unfortunately, teachers have been made to teach to these standardized tests instead of really teaching our kids how to be critical thinkers, because that's really what education is about. And the other thing it's about teaching them how to have good character. And these are things that Dr. Martin Luther King himself always talked about. So, what will I do for the education system? I will make sure that our education is funded properly so that every kid in Indiana will receive the proper education. And that means that they become critical thinkers. And that also means that they become people of high character. So
Once
that's what I
again, once again, see, there you go. We don't. I haven't heard nobody say that what you just said. I've heard people say they're going to help reform, but I never heard them say that we want to create critical thinkers.
yes.
Why do you think? See, now that just got me going. So now I got to go and call the school board and say, if y'all don't come on my show, and I'm working with this young lady and we get her to our petitions, don't come calling me when Tammy start cracking down on y'all head because y'all ain't got no critical thinkers. Critical thinking is important in the process of education. And I'll share this with you. When I was growing up in high school, right, I got held back in the 5th grade. And for a long time, I thought that I couldn't learn how to read, couldn't learn how to write. I just wasn't educated. right?
Mm-hmm.
But once I started to see myself in those books and I started to learn how to read and write, right? Because most of the time the teachers say, hey, um, I'm not getting paid enough, right? And I always say, if y'all not getting paid enough, I got to go to work the whole year round. Y'all got the summers off. Okay. So once again, it's a slippery slope. Yes, they should get paid more, right? But if you're going to do the job, if you sign up for the job, you got to do it. You
Yes.
can't say I'm going to do a half a job because I don't have the tools that I need. But like you said, you're saying that we want to create critical thinkers in our education system. That's
Right.
important. You want
Right.
little Johnny's bored because he's probably not pushed to be a critical thinker. He see his brother out there critically thinking, selling stuff, and he see his uncle out there critically thinking, selling stuff, and he gets into the schoolroom. He's not challenged to be critically thinking. So
Right.
that's the first thing, and I appreciate you saying that because that's something that we can grab a hold to. That's tangible, you know.
Right. And the other thing that I will say, with regards to critical thinking, people bring different perspectives to the table, and it's those varied perceptions, if you will, that help us find win solutions, right? I don't have all the answers. I won't have all of the answers, but what I can do is assemble a team that can help me find the answers, because we can look at just about anything and figure out very quickly by stats and everything else what has not been working well. But it's one thing to be able to point your finger at and say, okay, well, this isn't working well, but the next step is to identify why, and also to look for a solution. Again, that's a win for everybody, and granted, there's going to be times where we may not agree on certain things, and that's fine. But the bottom line is, we're going to do that cost benefit analysis, if you will. Again, policy should see the impact socially, it should see it economically, it should see it against the environment. And once we look at those impacts, then we can say, okay, well, based off of, the first thing we do is to identify the problem. The next thing that we do is find out how big of a problem is it, right? That's that analysis part, bringing in data and things of that information. Once we know what it is, we know how big it is, then we have critical thinkers at the table that can say, okay, well, I think we should try this because it impacts this many people, and so on and so forth. And then, so that's that brainstorming process. Once you brainstorm and you look at the impact across the board, then it becomes, okay, well, what can we do to get a win for this? Obviously, I'm not saying economics aren't important, they are, but it shouldn't be at the detriment of people, right? So I want to bring that type of balance across the state of Indiana, so that we have, and we're raising critical thinking, because one day, Tammy is going to want to retire. And I want to feel good about the next generations coming in, that everybody's going to be working with everybody so that we can flourish as a whole community across the state of Indiana. So that's why education is important. And I also want to say that, education, everybody doesn't have to go to a 4-year institution. Again, I'm talking about critical thinkers, right? That's good. Some people are 2-year people. In your trade schools, well, everybody knows that trades are necessary. We're talking about plumbers, electrician, anything basic construction, right? It takes all types of people to make the world go round. So you can be educated in a variety of different ways. But again, we need you to think for solutions, because that's not what businesses come. Every business that you can think of, it addresses a problem. So we need to allocate money to those big problems and make sure we got the right people at the table to make sure we come up again, win solution, period.
Okay, so Tammy's on it. She's telling us we got to create the critical thinkers, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with us. Is the cavalry once again? The cavalry is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. The creek is rose. The levee is giving way. Tammy is here. So we got to get in the game. She's putting us in the game. We can get in the game with Tammy. So the next thing is, Tammy, what is your position on the healthcare system?
Well, like most systems and any other systems, there is great room for adjustments. With regards to healthcare, I'm a believer that there should be universal, healthcare and mental health care and women's care and all of that. So there are, various ways to improve that. And one of the things that I also want to do is, because I'm gonna call it, when I am successful to get my name on the ballot, when I am successful to become Indiana's governor, I obviously am going to take the time and look at those systems and have critical thinkers with me at that table so that we can come up with viable solutions. I do know, like, for instance, Massachusetts, that is an area that has universal health care. And that's what Obama was trying to create. It was actually a model of that had come from Massachusetts. Well, if Massachusetts can have, this ideal of universal health care, I would like to think that Indiana could adopt such a model. Of course, we would have to tweak it for us, but I think that is one way to improve. So, it's okay to look to other states or even other countries to figure out, okay, if they can make it work. And we all know that there's other countries that have universal health care. And the United States, we are supposed to be the cream of the crop. So we need to step our game up. And if Indiana is the first one to do that, then great. Indiana, let's be that. Let's set that stage. So hopefully the other states will fall in. But to answer your question, I would like to bring a model, much like Massachusetts, that would allow us to have universal health care for Hoosiers. So that's one of the things that I would like to do for healthcare.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, she's giving you a blueprint. She's not hiding from it. That's why I asked her the question, because a lot of times, Tammy, what we'll do is we won't ask the questions, but we have a lot of questions, right? So we're universal health care is something. My wife passed away from COVID, and we had great health care, but there are people who passed away of COVID, right, that was not able to get the type of health care, quote unquote, that other people were getting. And it costs a lot of lives, right? But if we have universal health care, right, those doctors, they got paid regardless. But what happened is you put the dog on them, and they're up under the watch. So you can't have, Cepeda has great health care because I work at this company, and you have medium health care because you're doing what you're doing, and somebody over here has no health care, and then they just got to get what they can. Well, you're saying that, hey, that has to stop. Everybody should be able to get the same amount of service regardless. And that's a positive.
That's valuing people. I value, and we should all value human life, right? And that's what that looks like. And, it's no big secret that these pharmaceutical companies, they are billion and trillionaires, 25 times over, right? So with that being said, just like, my example is just like, how the alcohol industry, they have to set aside certain monies because, and not only alcohol, the I don't smoke, the what do you call it, the cigarette people. So the cigarette companies, what I meant to say, the cigarette companies, they have to set money aside because of the damage that's known when people smoke, right? And also they weren't allowed to, do any advertisement that, toward kids and things of that nature. But the long story short, they had to put money aside for the injury that has been caused, right? So we all know that, when medicine works well, it does that. It works extremely well. But there's sometimes when medicine doesn't, and it ends up hurting people. And obviously those people should be compensated. But part of, I believe, the pharmaceutical money should also be set aside to help pay for this universal care.
Wow.
And again, that's just an idea that I have. Again, it's brainstorming, but and I would like to look into see if something like that works. Now, pharmaceutical people are not going to be happy about what I'm saying, But, again, it's about making sure, and they say they value lives, which is why they make all this medicine. Well, if you truly value lives, right, then maybe you could set some of that money aside to help pay for this universal health care, because it's about where, well, the first question is, where is all this money going to come from? Budgets are tight, budgets are limited, and things of that nature. But again, can we carve out some of that money so taxes don't have to go up and things of that nature? That is just one idea that I have. Certainly I will be open to conversations, to have conversations with other people, to hear about their ideas, and then again, we can help together work to figure out a win-win-win. And last note, even with regards to the tobacco companies, right? I think they figured out a win-win-win. Why? Because they're still producing cigarettes and they're still putting money in that side bank account to help offset the damage that's being done. Right. So those are just some of the ideas that I have, and I'm hopeful that answers that person's
Yeah.
question.
Well, as they always say, if it's good for you, it's good for me. You reap what you sow. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, she's addressed the educational piece, right? We want our children to be critical thinkers, and out of that critical thinking, we're going to get some kids that's going to be able to help us with our health care, right? So the next question is okay, what the job market? What you gonna do about the job market? Now we just got the strike. The big three just got done with the strike, and some people are okay with it, some people ain't. But once again, it's a government issue. But when they needed our help, it was okay. Let's help. But when they was trying to take care of the people, I didn't realize it was that much of a differentiation in jobs and in pay. They made a lot of money. They paid back the loan and making the buku. And we went on a strike, right? And I ain't never, and maybe you can help me with this, I ain't never heard of a strike to where some of them go to work and some of them don't. I've never heard of that. I thought a strike was everybody go on strike, and if you cross the strike, I think they called you a scab, right? So I'm sitting right here looking at this thing play out on national television. In fact, the president, I think he came to Detroit, right?
I think so, yeah.
Which quote unquote had the bad water. We ain't gonna talk about that, but I don't understand how they can ask the government for their tax dollars, and the people who are working for them are paying tax dollars. So it's actually them helping themselves. And then the job market, they didn't want to pay them. And then the union said, we're only going to go a half a strike. Or I don't know how that went, but it was weird. It was weird.
Right.
So how do we address the job market that we're living in today?
Okay.
What you going to do to make sure that Indiana don't lose any of those big threes?
Right. So I keep going back to valuing people first. My every position is equity and valuing people first. So let me also start out by saying I am a former 662, 663 union person. My father was a president of a local union here in Anderson, Indiana. And so I am union born and bred. So I do believe in, unions. My father is also a small business person, so I believe in small businesses too.
Okay.
Now, with regards to unions, first of all, like they said, we give respect where respect is due. Because of unions, we have these things called paid time off, paydays, right? We've got holidays. So I totally respect unions, and yes, unions are coming back. They, have been dismantled on so many different levels, and they are working to come back, and needed and necessary, because unions provide a balance to make sure that the people's interest is being represented. And for instance, like with any company. A company typically has an attorney. That attorney represents them. Unions basically is an attorney, if you will, or attorney like for employees, right? So just like management has its representation, workers need their representation, and management and union need to sit at the table to make sure that both interests are met. They've got a product that they want and need to get out, but at the same time, that product takes people to be able to buy that product. It takes people to be able to put that product together. So there should be, just like a husband and wife, we got to work together on this, right? And so I say that to say, I used to work for Delco Remy America here in Anderson, coming out
Oh,
of
okay.
high school, coming out of, college. High school, I used to do a little bit of work on my summer breaks. And even in college, I'd come home and work. And then after college, I actually worked, like I said, at Delco Remy America. And so at a very young age, I recognized even at that point, when I came in, or just after I came in, they started to do this 3-tier payment scale, right? And so
Uh-huh.
basically, if you came in and you were one, some of the older people or whatever, obviously you were well paid. And then after that, depending on which tier you fell under, each one of them was a deduction of pay, if you will. And then eventually it kind of, phased down to one tier, and it ended up being a low tier. And what happened from there was the people on the assembly line making those cars were no longer able to buy their cars. So in essence, you eliminated your own customer, which was your very own employee. And I don't even have to tell you how, the big three was dismantled from there. Right. So, with regards to, this job market, again, it's going to require collaboration. It's going to, there's nothing wrong, with people making money, but it shouldn't be at the detriment, literally, of someone else's livelihood. There's enough of that pie for everybody. Of course, if you're the baker, we understand that you bought all the ingredients. We understand that you whipped that pie up, and you put it in the pie crust, you put it in the oven, you baked it to the right temperature, it's full of flavor, and now you got to cut that pie up to share it. And it's okay that you keep a nice piece of that pie, but if you want to be able to sell more of those pies, you got to give up some of that so that you can feed those people, so that those people can buy your product and keep you in business, right? So the job market, we just need a job market. And I've got some ideas. And like I said, I can get more into those when I have an opportunity to be a candidate, right?
Janet.
So that's where I'm at. But, job market, it takes collaboration and putting people first.
All right. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, she even hit the hot topic that people don't even want to talk about: the unions and the government and how they played their part with one another. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is somebody, like she said, she is a people's person. She's here to represent us, and this is the type of candidate that we need to be getting behind at the early stage and within the next couple of weeks so we can get her on the ticket. If you like what she's saying, tell your girlfriend about it. Tell her, go to the beauty salon, get
Right.
all of y'all to go down there instead of going to Macy's, go down to the B&B, right? And get your son, get your daughter, get all of y'all registered to vote and get on that ballot. Get her on the ballot. How
And
would
and
you
this
change? And I know this is kind of off topic, but how would you kind of change the mental health services?
Well, and I'm glad you bring that up. So, I've been traveling across the state of Indiana. And like you said, I am not accepting any campaign dollars because I am not a candidate. I go to work every single day like everybody else. I'm putting gas in my own tank as I go across the state. And I'll get back, to your question. But I'm reaching out here, and I'm going to, like, I've been to Gary, I've been to Terre Haute. I've been to, Evansville. I'm going across the state and I'm letting people know. I'm visiting churches and all those things, and all those people, to really get the word out about what I'm trying to do. And I must say, with regards to, particularly, I want a shout out, if you will, Pastor Bale from True Love out of Fort Wayne, and Pastor Dix from Pilgrim out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They've really been on the horn, and they've really been trying to help. So, with regards to, this mental health thing, Pastor Dix out of Fort Wayne, the Pilgrim Church, he's been having conversations about perhaps having a mental health station, if you will, not only in his church, but in, churches, particularly with regards to minorities, so like Latinos and Black churches and things of that nature, because a lot of times in our communities, there is a stigma with regards to receiving the mental health care that we need. And so one of the things that I would like to do is really have a deep conversation, not only with Pastor Dix, but, with pastors across the state of Indiana, that, would like to have maybe such a program like that, where we can get, mental health care, and again, inside churches, because one, I think it would help to reduce that stigma, because when you're coming to church, you're coming to church, and don't nobody know, what you come to church for, other than, praising, God, or whatever. That's all that should be on their mind and their focus. But if you got to get other help and other services, because that's the ministry, right? So mental health care could be, ideally a ministry of that church. And so I like that idea. The idea was not mine, it's his, but I like it, and I would love to have a conversation with him and other pastors who would like to see the same type of programming or ministry, if you will, inside of those churches. So I think that could help, definitely help mental health. And so I hope that answers your question as well.
Yes. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, she's solution driven. She haven't ducked one of the questions. She haven't ducked not one of them. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we're ready to finish this up. Tammy, what is 2 to 3 things that we can do to help promote you getting on the ticket? Tell us what we can do. Tell us what you would like to see us do as our ringleader. Give us some marching orders.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And like my motto goes, let's get Tammy on the ticket. So how do you do that? Again, I must have petitions signed. I need the original petition signed. And so what that will do, it will allow those signatures from registered voters to be counted toward the 4,500 that I need to get my name on the ballot. Now, I have been collecting signatures, but I'm going to say it's never enough. And the reason being is because some people may have written in such a way that it's not very legible. So, I'm just asking people to take your time and to make it legible as possible, especially your printed name. Like, nobody can really read anybody's signature, but when it comes to your printed name, please make sure you print as legible as you can. And so that way that when they're verifying these signatures, they will be able to see that you are a registered voter. And so again, I need you first thing first to, either download that particular petition. If you cannot download it and print it, then we will make arrangements for you to get a petition. I've got people that will drop some off. I've got churches that have some of my petitions. I have mailed out some of my petitions. But at any rate, first thing first, get the petition, sign it. Ask your, immediate family to sign the petition. So mom, dad, husbands, wives, aunts, uncles, cousins. Ask your immediate family. Then ask, your close friends. Ask your church congregation, like you said, beauty shops, barber shops. If everybody just took one sheet, and on one sheet there are 10 lines. If everybody just took one sheet, completely filled it out, and the other thing is, make sure you get it back to me. And so again, I've got contact people in various areas that you can, they will pick up or you can drop off those petitions. I can send a pre-paid postage to you. I can come and meet you. However, whatever it takes, I need those petitions back because once again, they have to be verified with each voter registration office. And then from there, I take them to the State House where I would be then declared a candidate once I get those 4,500 signatures.
So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you got the telephone number that we got going down here. I'm getting ready to put Tammy email address down there. What we're going to do, Tammy, to help do our part, we're going to put your video. It's already on our website, on my Facebook page. It's already on there. Ladies and gentlemen, go check out the video. Share it with some of your friends. Share. If we just get each one of us just do 10 people, we'll get there very quickly.
Absolutely. And do this by let's do this by December 22nd or no later than Christmas.
Let's do it by Friday. Let's do it by Friday.
Yes.
Friday. Let's do
oh,
it
yeah,
by-
this Friday. Absolutely. 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 This Friday. I'm with you when you're right. Absolutely.
Let's do it by Friday.
We got the urgency of now. Absolutely. This Friday.
So we got to get it in now because, like she said, one of some of the things that they'll do, they'll say, hey, they'll throw out some of them. And so we want to make sure that she's overly qualified. And the main reason is because she represents us. Once again, I say this, the Calvary is not coming. The creek is rose. Tamie is here, right? So there's no reason for you to say, I don't know what I can do. I'm telling you what you can do. Print out, go to her website, go print it out. You can scan it. She's got a way you can scan it on your phone. Call her up. If not, call her up. She'll have a representative that'll take care of you. Get it done. Inbox me and say you did it. Right?
Yeah.
And then
accountability. I like that.
We want to get this done before Friday. And then we want to get you voting. Right? So the first thing we got to do is understand that this is our candidate. I can say that she's our candidate because guess what? I'm a public individual. She can't say it because she's running for office. I can say it. So with that being said, use this as a platform to springboard your opinion, right? If you want to get involved, go down to the B&B. That's simple. Go down to the B&B. They'll give it right to you. Register to vote. And then guess what? Send it to her. They might even have somebody at the desk that will fax it or whatever. But don't trust that. Call Tammy up and say, hey, Tammy, I got it in my hand. And she can send you to the nearest representative. And I'll take it one step further. If you got one, inbox me and I'll come and get it. And we'll go down there and take it to her herself. Okay? So we want to have this done by Friday. So I'm going to do a campaign starting tonight. I'm going to post her video every single hour. I'm going to share it every hour. If you don't do nothing, do this for me. Do this for me. The people that are watching, I'm asking, share this with your friends so that they can see. Share her video with your friends that's going to be on my website. If I share it, that means I ain't got to keep sharing it myself. But share it with your friends and then call them up and say, did you watch it? Can you go down and vote to help her get on the ticket? And if you're in Indiana, she needs 4,500 votes. So
signatures. I need 4,500 signatures. Yes.
So let's get on the ball. Let's do this. We can do this. And then once she get on, right? Once she gets on, then I'm going to come back on the show and we're going to celebrate what we did because this is what we call a grassroots movement.
Yeah.
This is what we call grassroots movement. And this is where we got to bet on ourselves. You're betting on yourself when you vote for Tammy, when you sign in a petition. You're betting on yourself. Have enough courage to stand up for yourself. So that's why we brought her onto the show. Tammy, you are great, fantastic. Is there anything else that we can do?
That's the main thing. First thing first, let's sign the petition by this Friday. Let's help get me on the ballot. And like I said, I am the voice for all of the voiceless, right?
Correct.
I like I said, I'm a civil and human rights director. I am here to do just that, protect all civil and human rights. And again, my vision is to make sure that Indiana is a state that values people first. And that's, again, I'm bringing equity across the table, across the state, and value. So that's the message. Let's get Tammy on the ticket for choice, and most of all, to bring humanity back to government by valuing the most valuable asset,
And
which is people.
people. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, Tammy, she has stole the show once again. I enjoy her. We enjoy her. We want to celebrate her. We want to show love towards her. And this is something that we can tangibly see. We want to get out here, the people that's betting on yourself. If you've been rocking with me, you're in Indiana. I'm from Elkhart, up there by the Fort Wayne area. Some of my people are up there by Elkhart. Every president has came to Elkhart. So, hey, let's
I
start.
need Elkhart. I need Elkhart's help, South Bend, you name it. I need us across the whole state. So,
State, the
yeah.
whole state. So the COE, y'all got my back. So y'all been rocking with me. Y'all give me a lot of love when I come up there. Let's get it out. I'm going to be reaching out to some pastors that I know up there. And so we want to get Tammy on the ticket. And so I'm going to hold them to the fire. So once again, Tammy, thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
onto the show. Thank you for thinking enough of this, young brother to at least attempt to try to service somebody as great as you. I thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to promote you. Uh, Always a blessing talking to you. And,
Likewise.
and we're going to
Likewise.
do everything we can possibly do to get Tammy on the ticket.
Hey, I thank you so much. Thank you for keeping that door open for me. Thank you. Thank you and thank you.
So,
And
so,
thank
so
and
we're
thank you all you listeners for listening. And I'm gonna thank you in advance for getting me on the ticket. Thank you so much.
all right. So that's what we want to do. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna put her thing on, her slogan on, her video on. We did not have the ability to put it on this show, but if you go to my website, if you're watching it, or if you go to YouTube, I can embed it on there. You're gonna be able to see Tammy. She has a whole drawn out campaign going. We're gonna follow her. I'm gonna talk about her every single time we come on the show. Share this with as many people as you can, because now is the time that we're taking action. So
Yeah.
this is what Bet on Yourself is all about. We're excited about Tammy being on here, and this is something besides the logistics company, Tammy is the first one that we can literally start the movement and get the ball rolling and have somebody that's representing us. So, like I always say, the cavalry is not coming, ladies and gentlemen. The creek is rose, the levee is giving way. It's up to us to save us. And if we're not talking about it and helping her get on the ticket, then we're part of the problem. So, once again, Tammy, thank you,
Thank
thank you,
you.
thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
and one quick tidbit. Try WeTransfer.com. That is a website that actually will take a large video and convert it to like a link and another format so that it's easy to upload and transfer to others. So the video that I recorded or your video, you can use WeTransfer.com and it'll help do that conversion for free.
Okay.
So
So once again, our governor is right here telling us what to do. So
I'm sharing information.
hey, she's sharing this, she's giving us marching on. So that's the type of governor. See, once again, did y'all see what just happened? Our governor was just right here telling us, hey, this is what we can do. WeTransfer.com. Once again, if you don't know, we got the answer. Our governor is competent. So she ain't got to be out there. So once again, she's smiling. She's approachable. She's not bought. We thank her that she chose us, and she didn't have to. She chose us out of an hour. She could have been talking to somebody else, but she chose to be on this show talking to Cepeda Jackson that's promoting her. So I thank God for Tamie. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Tamie. Thank you. And as you begin to go forward, we want to stand behind you. Whenever you're more than welcome to come back on the show when you win. I just want to be the first show that you come on after you win. I just want to be the first show.
And listen, win or lose, I'm coming back, right? Win
Okay,
or
win,
lose.
win or lose, but we don't accept
Because
losses over here.
no,
We don't
right.
accept that.
And where I come from, as long as you try, you're not losing. So I'm coming back a winner, whether I get my name on the ballot or not, whether I become governor or not. The simple fact that I tried, I'm a winner. So this winner will be coming back to your show. How about that?
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
All
Tammy.
right.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Once again, if you have any social issues, civil rights issues, she's also can help you with that too. So that's what she does by profession. Tammy, thank you for coming onto the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're looking to be doing great things from you. We're looking to do great things. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, next week we're gonna have 3 shows. We're gonna have an accountant on the show. We're gonna be promoting Tammy. We got the home ownership show that's we're gonna have the credit and home ownership that's coming on. Once again, Tammy, we're here to support.
All right.
Till
Thank
next
you
week,
and good
ladies and
night.
gentlemen. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.